Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Board Gaming Doctor. My name is Phil, and I'll be your Board Game Doctor today. In this video, I'm going to go through the nominations for the Board Game Geek yearly, the Golden Geek nominations for the awards this year. So, the way that this works is they have different categories, and in each category, we'll start with the two-player game category. You get to rank the games from 1 to however many there are. If you haven't played it, then you can put an A, and all of these will be linked together and added together, and we'll have winners and nominations later on. So I wanted to go through and off the cuff share some of my thoughts on some of these games that I was able to play from last year, or that I have played this year, and perhaps have reviewed it, perhaps not, but I did want to give my thoughts on them. So most of these two-player games I have not played. I've heard of quite a few of them. Dune War for Arrakis is a two-player version of, War of the Ring, the second edition. So that seems pretty interesting to me. I would, out of all of these, I would be interested in playing this one. Flatiron is the new game by Isra and Shay. That looks interesting as well, that I have not had a chance to play. Other than that, I've heard really good things about Kelp, Shark versus Octopus. I think this is a two-player trick-taking game. Head-to-head trick-taking game, I believe. And yeah, lots of good things to say about this game so far. But the ones that I have played are A Jest of Robin Hood and Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth. I haven't played Star Wars Unlimited, the new TCG. I have played King of Tokyo Duel, I'm pretty sure. So I'll give this as my bronze medal vote. I liked the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth more than A Jest of Robin Hood. I think A Jest of Robin Hood is a deeper game. It's more, set in history, or, Robin Hood, if it was historical, lots of legends behind it, right? But it plays like a historic war type of game for two players, and that's really fun. You can play this on Board Game Arena, but I enjoyed the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth more, and I thought it was more easily accessible and easier to bring to the table, and so and probably cheaper too. And so I was able to buy a copy of this and play it, and really enjoyed it. So I think my opinions still hold true from when I played both of these games a couple of months back, and I do like Duel for Middle-earth more. So that is going to be my ranking for two-player games. Artwork. So this one, I will have a lot of opportunities to talk about some of these games. I'll only mention the ones that I have played. And I think for artwork as well and presentation, I think something that will make the game play better and not only look great, but also it helps in its function and how the game plays. So I really enjoyed the Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth once again. The artwork is stunning. I really enjoy Dutre's work in how he layers some of the cards and the board as well. If we want to bring up an example of this, let's see if we have an image of the track, right? I love the panoramic view of the trek from the Shire all the way to Middle-earth, or sorry, Mount Doom in Mordor. So that's going to be the one to beat. Unconscious Mind is really good as well. The blend of different art styles for the real world as well as dreams really captured my interest in how the game looks, and I think the iconography also helps it play well. Let's see. So those I had already voted for. We've got Arcs. I think Arcs is the art is okay. I guess I'm not the biggest fan of the artwork and the art style in these games. I think it's fine. Um, the Fellowship, the artwork is okay too. Fromage is okay. Harmonies is good as well. It doesn't help the I guess the aesthetics or the function of the game as much, but it's good to look at. Let's Go to Japan is fun as well. SETI, there's a lot of pictures and um, kind of akin to how Arc Nova is, right? I think it's a little bit more artistic with the cards, if I remember right, but it's more like picturesque type of presentations rather than like brushwork or something like that. Wondrous Creatures looks good. I haven't played this one yet, so I won't rank it. And then Wormspan, obviously the dragons look really good as well. So I think I'm good with the first two here. So I will just kind of based off of preference and taste. Probably let's go with SETI 3, Wormspan 4, Harmonies 5, Fellowship 6, Fromage 7. Let's Go to Japan 8 and 9. Yeah, so these are the only two games that I haven't played there. I doubt that a lot of these lower ranks will affect the overall ranking too much. I think other people might be in the majority for some of those, but I think this also has to go with Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth for the way that it looks, but also how well it comes together. So, cooperative games. Looking at this list, I have played Dead Cells, I've played The Fellowship, I've tried The Gang a little bit, but I'm not going to rank it because it's I barely perused it. I really haven't played it with other people. So, Leviathan Wilds, I did a review of that with Jacob. I played Slay the Spire recently, and that's it. So, which out of these are my favorite cooperative games? I really liked Leviathan Wilds, I think, the most. I think this game was, one, really easy to get into and play because of the spiral bound notebook. I like the cooperative style of this game where you can really help someone out and you're aware of other people's situations, but you're mostly working on your own character and you're not really quarterbacking and telling what other people should do because everyone has their own set of cards essentially. And it played pretty quick, and that's probably why I liked it more than Slay the Spire. It's very similar to Slay the Spire in terms of how it cooperatively works. So I think my number 2 is going to be The Fellowship because it does play a little bit quicker than Slay the Spire. I mentioned before I'd rather play Slay the Spire as a video game, but I mean it's a really good game either way. I like the fact that if you do fail, you don't spend. I mean, you're meant to probably not make it all the way to the third final boss in Slay the Spire, right? Like in the video game, but it just feels so disheartening to me when you do spend hours making your way towards that end goal and not being able to reach it. Whereas with Fellowship, you can go through a hand pretty quickly in 5 minutes or so or less, and if you don't make it, you just reshuffle and redeal. The newness and the element of discovery is still there with the Fellowship, and so I haven't finished it yet, but really look forward to doing so. And so it kind of still has that new game, like what awaits this legacy type of game feeling. And so I think that's why I'll put it at number 2. So I will put Slay the Spire at number 3 because I liked it better than Dead Cells. I like the system better. And that's it. Okay. Expansions. So I haven't played the new Arcs expansions. I've only played the base game. That looks really fun to do. I haven't played the Four Shuffle expansions, expeditions, Gaia Project, Heat. All of these are really good and things that I would really be interested in playing. I think out of all of these, the one that I would be most interested in is the White Castle Matcha. I forget what this expansion does for the game. I think it adds a new resource and a new place to place your members, and so it kind of opens up the opportunities a little bit more for where to place it. And it's already fun game and how tight it is, and so I am curious to see how that would pan out. Obsession, more characters, that would be really fun to play with. Gaia Project as well. I think I might have played the Alpine expansion on Board Game Arena. I hope, if I'm wrong, correct me. But if so, then it just added some more cards with different effects, and so that just adds some more variety to Four Shuffle. I will rank that one, but the one that I have played the most is Turbulence, and so I think out of all of these choices, the Turbulence one with the additional scenarios and missions really makes it feel different every time. And I am biased because I do play this more often with a friend on a regular basis, and so I do have a lot of experience there. I'll give that one the number 2. And everything else, I'm just very interested in playing. Even, Terraforming Mars, Prelude 2, Arcs especially. I would love an epic gaming session to experience that with, but we'll see. So the most innovative games here. So I've, what mechanisms are brought, new to the game, or if they're delivered, old, familiar, I guess, mechanisms, how are they delivered and brought together in a new and innovative way? I guess this is what this is going at. I think Arcs. So I've played Arcs, I've played Fromage, Let's Go, and SETI. So only 4 rankings here. I do appreciate what Fromage is doing here with a more timing-like aspect. It's not as... it's kind of like a reverse Zolkin, if you think about it. Whereas with Zolkin and other games, you place your worker on a spot and you wait so many turns before you choose to pull it out. Fromage, you forward that with, I'm going to place this worker here for 3 turns, and then you'll know exactly when you get it back. And so I think that mechanism is pretty fresh and interesting. The way that Arcs comes about it, though, with how intricate a system can be of a sort of 4X space type of game with trick-taking elements, I think is the most innovative way. And so I'm just... the sheer complexity with the sheer elegance of the card system, I think, is very interesting. And I think this category is somewhat subjective, right? It's not exactly objective to say what is innovative and what's not. And so I think that is definitely going to be the most innovative, followed by Fromage. I think Fromage does a great job. The game didn't come together for me as well as it does for most people, but I will give it that it is mechanically and thematically pretty innovative as well. I love cheese, and so I love the theme of it. And then out of the next couple of games here, Let's Go and SETI, neither one strike me as something that is super innovative. I would say Let's Go to Japan, for its theme, is a little bit more innovative than SETI is. So I will leave it as such. And as for the rest of these games, I'm not too familiar with the games that I haven't mentioned yet. Bomb Busters is a fun short little game that I was interested in playing, but I haven't yet. And so that's, yeah. All right, so light game of the year. I've played Captain Flip. I've played Castle Combos, Flip 7, yes, Mlem, and River Valley Glassworks. So this one's pretty easy. Castle Combo is, I think, the best one out of all of these. It's a very simple game, easy to teach, but the variety in the cards is the kind of variability that I enjoy in games. And just to give you a sense of what that is, you're building a very small tableau and drafting cards, all of them individualistic in what they are and how they work. And so it's a somewhat tactical game, but it's easy and short enough to play over and over again and still be fresh. And so this is definitely up my alley when it comes to lighter games. For the rest of these, Flip 7, I think, is going to be next. I think I do really enjoy the different kinds of cards you have in this push your luck type of game. I've got this going pretty consistently on Board Game Arena right now, and it's just a good time. River Valley Glassworks is kind of an Azul-esque type of game where I prefer Azul over River Valley Glassworks, but it was pretty good. And I guess I would rather play... I don't really particularly enjoy these two games, Mlem and Captain Flip. I guess I'll give it to Mlem and then Captain Flip. For the 4 and 5, I would love to try Rebirth and Cities. I think those two would be interesting games to try as well in the future, but we'll leave it there. Medium Game of the Year. All right. So these are some pretty good games here. I've played most of them, actually, if not all of them, except for Endeavor. I thought Endeavor would be a heavier game, but I guess it's not. And this is one that I am wanting to play and probably will play pretty soon and review. I would love to have this reviewed before I approach the year's worth of games again at the end of the year. But out of all of these games, I would say that my favorite is going to be Harmonies. Harmonies is the perfect way for me. I mean, if you just watched the video that I did playing with my wife to celebrate 500 subscribers, we had a great discussion and playthrough of this game and how this is my preferred method of tableau building compared to Cascadia. It feels, like my wife said, very much like Tiny Towns and Azul, right? So it's kind of a combination of those two games. So yeah, just really, really enjoyed this game. Out of the next ones, I would say the next highest one would either be Duel for Middle Earth or Wormspan. I think for this category, I'm going to go for Lord of the Rings, because it does feel more middleweight than Wormspan. I think Wormspan is a little bit heavier, and this would make more sense if Wingspan was here. I really did enjoy Wormspan. I do like Wingspan more thematically, but Wormspan mechanically was just as good, if not better. And so I look forward to playing this more. And I think I will own Wingspan, but I would play Wormspan more, probably. I don't know. So that's an easy number 2 and 3. Out of the next couple, The Fellowship will probably go 4 for me. I think I liked Windmill Valley next the best. It's a Danny Garcia game where it's very much a Euro-style game. I reviewed it on the channel and quite enjoyed it. I guess I like Fromage better than Let's Go to Japan. I think Let's Go to Japan is fun thematically, but it feels very much like any other kind of, I guess, tableau building, deck building, I don't know, kind of game. You're not building a deck, sorry. It's fine. I think it's more aesthetically pleasing than mechanically sound, and so that's Fromage has the edge, I think, both in terms of theme and as well as how it plays. River of Gold has received a lot of praise, but it didn't really stand out to me as something that I would want to return to. And Slay the Spire, probably, despite my gripes about it, would probably hit the table more than River of Gold would. So yeah, Endeavor Deep Sea would probably go somewhere higher. I'm thinking top 5 probably, but I would have to play it first. So, all right. Finally, heavy game of the year. So this is where a lot of my interests lie, and some of these games, about half of these games I've played. So Black Forest. Okay, so we got Black Forest and Civolution. This reminds me of when I was ranking my games from last year, my top 10 games back in December. And I remember trying to differentiate between these two. I believe I gave it to Black Forest, and I think I still would. I, I'm a sucker for Rosenberg games, as you know, and Black Forest utilizes a lot of the same mechanisms as one of my favorite games of all time, Glass Road, and so it's pretty hard to beat. But Civolution is pretty close behind it. Civolution has the legs, I think, to make it quite far in terms of what I enjoy. Next would either be SETI or ARX, and I think ARX has a lot of potential to be one of my favorite games. I know it's going to come digitally. I'm sure SETI will become a digital game as well, a lot easier for me to play and dive into. I think SETI is going to be right now the game that I would approach first. I think it's easier to understand and wrap my head around based off of my past plays. ARX is still a little bit more of an outlier in terms of theme. I don't tend to gravitate towards the SpaceX 4X type of game, but it's still very interesting. I was blown away when I first played it and would love to try it again. I would love to try Andromeda's Edge. I enjoyed Dwellings of Elder Vale, this is a space version, kind of a second edition or like a sequel to, right? So I would love to play that. Unconscious Minds I have played, of course, and I probably would play that ahead of Inventions. I remember putting this on my list. It was pretty low on my top 10 list, but I think Inventions will be bumped out pretty quickly because I think it's a little too abstracted for my taste in terms of a civilization themed game from Lacerda. And yeah, so out of the ones left over, I do enjoy the Garfield games. They all kind of, I feel like people who look at my tastes and see the appreciation that I have for the nuances between the Rosenberg games, I feel like would have the same type of appreciation approach as they do for the nuances seen in the Garphill games, right? And so, to me, these games kind of would probably feel a little similar. I've heard Ezra and Nehemiah have a lot of they conglomerate a lot of the cool mechanisms that you see in like Paladins and other games from across the different trilogies, right? So yeah, I would love to play all of these games except for Mennefer. I think while mechanically pretty sound, it's a little too dry for my tastes. So yeah, we'll see if we ever get to those in the future. So those are my rankings for heavy game of the year. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go through these as in depth. I'll give Flip 7 my number one here for party game. That's probably one that I would return to the most out of that. I haven't played any of these games. I know about Knights because I did help back one game from this designer, a civilization print and play that looks pretty interesting. So I'll probably, if I get access to that, a review on this channel. Solo games. So yeah, some of these games, what would I play solo? Probably Civolution. I really liked how the AI was done in Civolution. I do have a copy of this game and will do a live play of this solo at some point because I want to do that. So Slay the Spire, number 2. And that's it for that. A lot of these other games I don't really know much about. I've kind of heard of Kingdom Legacy. That one looks interesting to me. Imperium Horizons, I've played the Imperium games. I do prefer Captain's Chair more. Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs also. I don't think I'll get around to this one, but I've heard good things about that one too. Thematic game. All right, so which one, in my opinion, approaches the theme the best, and what theme would I appreciate the most out of all of these? I think SETI, out of all of these, was just so cool in how it approached, in Euro-style mechanisms, the search for intelligence and space travel or space exploration, right? So I just loved how thematic this game was. That's an easy number 1 for me. And then looking at the rest of these are pretty good. I mean, Arcs. Unconscious Mind was really good thematically too. These are all really good. I guess for theme, I'm going to go Unconscious Mind as number 2. I think it approaches the theme really well and represents what you would do as a clinician, I suppose, or a psychiatrist in this time period. I think that it meshed really well in this game. The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth really had that push and pull type of feeling that you see in the movies and books. I'll put Arcs as number 4 because I think it does bring a lot of the mechanisms and feeling and theme together for a space 4X in a new and innovative way. Let's Go to Japan. Yeah, that's probably it'll go there for its theme. It's pretty new. I'm surprised that Fromage isn't on this list. I think that's a theme that is interesting and novel. The trick-taking game, this one, it's so hard to rank all of these. These are really close. I really enjoyed how each mission has reflected different parts of the book. So even though it's number 6, I think it's really good. And so that's it for that. Here are the war games. I'm going to leave this alone. I don't want to sully my votes as a Eurogame player on some of these other war games that probably deserve it more. A lot of these historical type games, GMT games as well. They probably deserve it more. So I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to skip over best podcast. I don't want to. I will vote for a lot of these. I do enjoy a ton of these. Game Brain is probably my favorite because this is the podcast that really got me interested in a lot of the games that I enjoy now, and I resonate with a lot of what they say. And so, but I really love Decision Space, Blue Pig, Pink Pig, Board Game Barbecue. Yeah, all of these I've really enjoyed listening to, and I think they all deserve to win, honestly. So I'm going to go to the app. This is something that I am very familiar with, right? As I tend to play a lot of games online. So, okay, I didn't know that Pocket was on this. I will rank that. I do collect the cards in this game, but I don't think the Pokemon TCG is on Board Game Geek, so I think that's weird. So I have played a lot of these games. The one that really speaks to me is Dune Imperium. I think the way that this game was implemented made it so feasible and so easy to play. I like the online matchmaking that Direwolf does. So I think this one has a lot of people on it and is a game that deserves a digital implementation and is done really well. So that one is definitely up there. And they implemented a fast forward button, so this made it even better to play. I've heard a lot of good things about... so first of all, I have played Clank, and Yeah, I think I'll give this number 2 for similar reasons as Dune. Same company, they do a really good job. Direwolf does with how well they implement these games, and so that's an easy 1 and 2. The Codenames app I have not played, but I've heard it's really good. I did not know Point Salad had an app, but I think it is back as of yesterday on Board Game Arena, so that is great. I have played Calico, and so I'm going to give that a number 3. The only issue that I have with Monster Couch, which is the publisher for the digital version of this and Wingspan, is that the online matchmaking system is quite often hard to have games continue because there's no penalty for not being able to play or keep a game going, right? If you decide to leave or not play, there's no way to modulate like the reputation that you have on Board Game Arena to filter out people who might not play. There's no way to change the asynchronous nature of the game, whether it's only real time or 72 hours, right? There's no in between. So while I like the game and the implementation is nice, aesthetically nice, the matchmaking is not as great. So actually, I might put this as number 4, and then we'll give Pocket a number 3. This is a fun game. This is, yeah. Stone Age, did not know this had a digital version of it. I'm sure it's great. And the rest of these games, Mountain Goats, I've played on Board Game Arena. So I did, yeah, that's where I would go to it. And I have not played the specified apps for the rest of these games. So that's it. So there you go. I'm going to leave it on this. This is my comfort zone right here. But those are my nominations and my picks for the Golden Geek for last year, 2024, and we'll see who the winners are. I think everyone here deserves a win and a nod and a mention, and hopefully they get their due for these amazing games that have come out in the last year. So thank you for joining me on this journey. Hope you schedule an appointment with me real soon, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.